as a coach, a guy who coached them, how cool is that to see guys get their first NFL title?
Yeah, that's pretty neat right there to watch those guys, watch those Clemson guys performing on Sunday. You know, even C.J. Spiller had a great game as well. To see those guys, Andre and Nuke and C.J. Jerron Brown had a big catch to set up that one. So it was pretty special. I mean, we definitely were talking about it after practice yesterday. It's pretty neat.
Does that help maybe even motivate the team? And just does it have nothing to do, I know, with this group, but in some ways, does it kind of put a bounce in their step maybe for practice?
Well, I mean, I think our guys are just excited for their former teammates, you know, and as far as motivating our guys, I mean, I don't know if it does anything to help motivate them, but I think it definitely helps those guys out to see, you know, to be able to relate to them and say, man, they were right here a year ago, and to be able to perform at that level and have an impact and make a difference in the wins and losses. So they were excited. Our guys were really excited for them.
Got to thinking about this weekend. I was watching college football and I was wondering, on an off week, do you watch college football and watch Oregon to see how fast they're running, or Texas Tech, or do you get away from it?
Yeah, no, I try to watch it, and I actually enjoyed my Saturday. Kind of got a chance to watch Chandler and watch their team, and go home and watch a little ball. So it was good. It's still have a hard time sitting around, so I had to get up and go do some other things. But you know, I peeked in on it, absolutely.
So what's your take on replacing Charone and all the work that's been done to that effect since the injury?
Well, I think the biggest thing with Charone, the loss of Charone, you know, obviously terrible for him. You hate that for him and for anyone. But you know, a guy that was having such a good start to a year. And put in so much effort and so much work to actually, this was his time, and but that's part of the game of football. And so you know what it does now is it gives someone else an opportunity to come in, and you know that guy being Adam Humphries. Adam will be a guy that'll come in and be the starter now, and we all know what Adam's capable of doing. You know what it does? It hurts us from a depth standpoint. But you ask your Mike Williams and your T.J. Greens, those guys have got to step up now and kind of be thrust more into a role. G-Hop will kind of become the first guy in, I guess you could say, where Adam was. You know, when we had Charone, G-Hop will now be that guy. It was good to see G-Hop get the confidence and play at a high level last week. So. You know, that's the biggest thing. You hate that for Charone. It's going to give someone else an opportunity to step up, and it's going to definitely, you know, from a depth standpoint, it puts us in a bind. But we'll be okay with that.
Does Charone separate from Adam in other ways to get that starting role starting the season, or does it basically just come down to size and speed?
Well, I mean, I think it was more so just the versatility of Adam, you know, and with Charone being comfortable and it has kind of gotten into that role of earning that starting job, Adam had the versatility to be able to play anywhere. And so Adam gave us that quality backup at different positions there, and obviously Charone with the size and the speed and the way he was playing was really was good start for us this year with him.
What are the differences for players, coaches on these Thursday night games? I realize you shift everything back a couple of days and start game week on Saturday, but from your perspective, what do you have to tell the players just to make sure that they're ready at sort of an odd time to play football?
Yeah, I mean, coach has done a really good job of pushing things back. You know, this is to us is like a Wednesday. I didn't even know I had a press conference today. I really thought it was Wednesday. So we've tried to do a good job of relaying that to our players, and the way we've practiced, you know, really strained them really hard last week, and then kind of got back into a game routine on Saturday. So that's good to see. But the guys are just, you know, the biggest thing, talking to our guys and going through practice, had some really good practices over the last few days, is just they're ready. They want to get into a flow of a season. They want to get into a rhythm, a routine, and that's the thing right now that you know, hopefully Thursday night we can get this thing back into a routine and get going and kind of get into a flow of it.
Kind of like a holiday week where you can it's easy to lose track of days.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So it's been good, but I think even us as coaches, we're ready to get back into a regular routine.
What did Mike
TG have to do to earn some more of your trust and some playing time now that there is playing time available?
Well, they both play extremely fast. TJ's very physical. He's probably one of the most physical receivers that we do have. It's just learning to play fast as far as, you have to think a little bit. You have to think on your feet. Anytime you put a true freshman on the field, you're going to have mistakes. They're going to make mistakes. It's a growing process. You got to be patient with them, and that'll come. They're going to be very good players for us. It's just it's going to take some time, but unfortunately, they're going to have to play a whole lot earlier and more often than what we were anticipating. But they both have the opportunity to change a game because of the way they play and how physical they are, and it's just making sure that they know where they're supposed to be when they're supposed to be there.
Thinking that somebody like Adam actually gives Taj a great third down option because he knows how to kind of read the zone and sit in there. Is that part of the strength of his game? Yeah, I think Adam provides. I think we all know what Adam's capable of doing and what he's done for us in each of his first 2 seasons. He's very versatile. He's extremely intelligent. He's got a great feel for the game and knows how to get open. And so I think we wouldn't have won the games we've won without Adam Humphries over the first 2 years, or my first 2 years here, because he's that much of a threat for us and very dependable. And so I think he definitely provides mismatches, and excited to see that for him. You'll see Adam play all over the field.
What is NC State? You got a different defense this year. What are they doing different, or are they doing anything different than what you've seen?
Yeah, I know that they are. They're doing some things different. I think what you've seen is a team that's played very base the first 2 weeks and has come away with 2 wins. They too have an open week just like we did. So there's going to be some things that we know that we haven't seen on video that we're going to see, or that we feel like there's going to be some things we haven't seen that they're going to present to us. We feel like that they've played about as base as you could play the first 2 weeks, and so now we've got to be ready to pick up for whatever that's going to come our way. Of course, going against our defense, we've seen just about everything. So it's I couldn't imagine what else they could do, but we're expecting something different, something not necessarily a different base look, but some different pressures that they have. They may pressure more than they have. They haven't shown to be a big pressure team, which we're expecting to be just the opposite. We're expecting it to be a big pressure game for them. And so, I think you see some guys up front. Their defensive line is as good a defensive front as we've seen this year. Their 2 interior guys, going back and watching film on them last year and watching them this year, it looks like they've slimmed down. They've lost some weight. They're very active. They play exceptionally hard, very well coached, and that's one thing we've got to do is we've got to be able to pick up a lot of their movement because they do a really good job trying to disrupt things up front.
What was the difference between last year you scored 62 on them and the year before where you scored only 13 on them? What was the difference in those games?
Well, I think we obviously made some plays and didn't turn the ball over. That was a key. I think we went up there 2 years ago. It kind of was like a snowball rolling downhill. It just got bigger and bigger and bigger because we turned it over and we gave our defense a short, gave them a short field to work off of, put our defense in a bind, and we just could never get it turned back around. We missed a couple of reads going in on I think the first or second drive there that. Had we given a ball, we would have scored, and it might have been a difference in a game. Who knows? It's just kind of the flow. Once you get up there and you're playing on the road in a hostile environment like they have, their crowd's going to be excited. We've got to do what we do, and we've got to play, and we got to manage the game, and we got to be able to move the chains. So that's it.
I know you haven't really
Uh-huh.
looked too much at NC State offense last week or two, but do you look at schemes that are similar to you maybe over the summer when you've got a little more free time and just try to see what other people are doing?
Sure, yeah.
What have you seen from what they do on offense that maybe?
Well, I hadn't studied them offensively, as of late. I know they do a really good job when they were at Northern Illinois, and they put up a lot of yards and a lot of points. Do a great job on the perimeter game, just looking at them this summer and just peeking in on them. I hadn't looked at them this week or last week, but, that's one thing that they definitely do a good job of. Very well coached, and they play exceptionally hard as well. So.
Just talk about the comfort level as a staff and as a team, what it means to have a guy like Catanzaro back there when it comes down to maybe a game-winning kick that you guys are probably going to have the advantage of kicker week in, week out.
Well, we like to try to keep him on the bench as much as we could. We like to kind of just go ahead and put it in the end zone, but to know that we've got a guy that's as dependable as he is and has made the big kicks in the big-time games, I mean, that says a lot. We always tell our quarterback and tell our team, anytime we get in that red zone, we've got 3 points if we just don't screw it up. And that's what made us so effective last year in red zone offense. We were number 1 in the country in red zone offense last year because we took that approach. We scored every time in the red zone last year but 2 times. One time we fumbled and another time we hit a knee and to end the game. And so just knowing we got a guy like him is that's definitely a comfort.
Chad, for what the depth charts were, what was the reasoning behind putting Stanton at number 1, and what's his role right now in this offense?
Stanton provides just a big mismatch. He's got great speed. He's a tough kid. He moves well. So I think you're going to see Stanton. You're still going to see Coop, and you're going to still see Darryl. I mean, but the way that thing will work with Stanton in there. I mean, he's and you hope to keep bringing Jordan Leggett along because Jordan's kind of got all that. He's got the size, the speed. He's just got to get the toughness, and he's working on it, and he'll get there. But again, he too is a true freshman, but we know what we're getting in Darryl, and we know what we're getting in Sam, and excited about those guys. But
has Jordan still been pretty hesitant with his knee?
He's gotten better over the last week and a half, 2 weeks, last 10 days of practice. You're starting to see him come back and. Got a little, he got some playing time against South Carolina State, so he kind of developed a little bit of confidence, and just to be able to see him come on.
Did you see what you wanted to see out of the first team line last week in practice when you sort of?
Yeah, I think we've had some really good practices over the last 10 days. We strained them, we pushed them, we strained them, and taxed them in some areas, and to see how they would respond, and that was good to see. So. Our biggest thing right now is we've got to get in some continuity. We've got a game under our belt, essentially a game with our starting group, and we got a little bit of that second game. 2 quarters, a quarter and a half, however you want to say it. I don't know the exact number of reps, but we've got to be able to get some continuity and get into a flow of the game with all of them, and that's what I'm hoping to get out of this game is get these guys in there and let's get going. And we've developed some depth in our offensive line, and that's been good to see. So.
Now with Peake hurt, did it maybe add some importance to the fact that Hopper had such a big game and has one of those under his belt now?
Yeah, it did. I was glad to see that he had the success that he had. And he's had really good work week and all that stuff that goes along with it. But G-Hop's a guy that needed to have a good fall camp. He needed to earn the trust of our coaches and needed to earn the trust of his teammates, and he did that. He did that in fall camp, and we knew his time was going to come. G-Hop's as explosive a player as we've got. And so we're excited about him, and now he's playing with a little bit more confidence, and he kind of walks different even when he's in the office there. He feels good about himself in some areas now. He's got to continue to play well and play physical, and you'll see that. Again, he's just a young guy that's trying to figure it all out.
Given that uncertainty around North Carolina State's defense, how important will that message to Taj be to just take with him?
Oh, that's every week. That's going to be every week. That's not just NC State. That's whoever it is we're playing. That's and I don't even know who we got next, but whoever we got next, it's the same thing we're going to be talking about then. It's just take what they give you, and you can't go broke making a profit. Okay, and 5 yards is a profit, and you can't go broke taking that profit.
Why do you think quarterbacks struggle with that so much? Even someone.
Yeah, because that's not the attractive throw. Everybody wants to make the attractive throw, the ooh and the ah and the wow. That's an ugly throw. but it picks up 12 and 15 and 18 and 10, and it moves the chains. And that's the hardest thing. You ask any quarterback, and talking to coaches all over the country, that's the biggest thing with those guys is just take what they give you. You can't go broke taking a profit. And that's, if I've said that once, we've said it a million times. And that's something we've worked on. We've really worked on it this week, and Taj sees it, and that's the biggest thing. They got to see it. If they see it on film and they go, Coach, I don't know. I don't know why I didn't do it. Well, you weren't looking, you weren't thinking, you were trying to make that big throw when you had underneath wide open. And if you do that, then the big throws are going to come. We all know what he can do. All right?
Yep, thank you, Coach.